Welcome to another episode of the Signature Sip podcast. Today we have Melissa Gonzales, one of the top producers at Signature Realty NJ, and myself, Nino Royalle. Today we're going to cover lead generation strategies for 2026, paid and unpaid. Melissa, thanks for stopping by.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Melissa, you've been in the business for several years now. How long have you been in the business now?
So I got licensed in 2019, but I've been full-time since 2020. So 5 years.
5 years.
Almost 6 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What has changed over the last 5 years? Because since 2020, you went full-time.
Yeah.
That was during COVID times. Market was pretty insane. How would you say the market is doing right now?
During COVID times, during 2020, obviously when the rates were so low, there was definitely a lot of buyers. Right now that the rates have obviously increased, there's less buyers in the marketplace right now. So that could be obviously a challenge for some agents. So market has definitely changed. I would say it's more challenging now. It was also a very strong seller's market. Right now, I wouldn't
For a while,
yeah. I really wouldn't say that it's a strong seller's market right now. I think it's more, it depends more on the area. There's certain areas and certain houses that are still obviously getting multiple offers. And then there's some that you'll see, there's higher days on market, right? We're seeing price reductions. So those are all indicators, obviously, that the market has changed and shifted a bit.
It's interesting because I would say this year, though, we still have seen a significant amount of bidding wars still happening on certain homes.
Yes, so we have, but what I will tell you is that, and I'm primarily a listing agent at this point, but I've noticed that, some of my own listings, I'm not really getting 15, 20 offers like I used to.
Right.
Just a year or two ago, right? Am I getting still multiple offers? Yes, but not as high as like 15, 20, 25, right? So there still are multiple offers. They're just not as much or as common as they were a couple of years ago. And obviously I think that has a lot to do with the interest rates and just the overall pricing, right? How expensive it's become.
I was going to ask, do you think it has more to do than with the market or the strategy used to price that home? Maybe, is that happening because the market is still teetering between that seller's buyer's market? Or is it probably if they are seeing a bidding war or multiple offers, it's because that agent that listed that home was very strategic with pricing and making it, competitive, right, to what's happening?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
Because I've also noticed now that some sellers are a little bit unrealistic, right? They think that their home, and that's always been the case, right? There's always unrealistic sellers where they think their home is worth so much more.
Right.
But we're really, in my opinion, I think we're at the peak of the market, right? Mm-hmm. The way I've always explained it is, let's go back to 2020, right? Imagine 2020, now we're in 2025, and let's say you've been on this roller coaster, right? And you've been going up and up and up and up, and now you're pretty much at the top. Right. So you're doing this at the top, right? You're kind of teetering back and forth. Like, what's going to happen? Are the prices going to come down? Are they going to continue to go up? We don't know. Right. So I think that sellers they're a little unrealistic and they really think their home is worth a lot. And they're so used to hearing, oh, multiple offers, my home sold for $100,000 over asking or 10% over asking or whatever the case may be, then now when we're going into these appointments, we have to now explain that, listen, those things aren't happening like that anymore. But you have to understand that the market has appreciated substantially since
that wasn't normal.
Right.
Like that wasn't something that was going to last because eventually the market had to come to a place to correct itself.
Correct. So now when we go into these appointments, we have to now explain to the seller, like, look, the market is high, right? Your home has appreciated tremendously in the last couple of years, which historically homes don't appreciate at this rate, right? But they're so used to, like, the norm became multiple offers and $100,000 over asking, 10%, whatever it is. That's how
I'm sure realtors were educating their clients, because I remember that time period, and it's not, agents were educating their clients, letting them know, hey, we don't know how long this is going to last. Like, try to take advantage because this is what we're seeing. If you want to sell, this is the time to sell. And you might not be able to find your next home, but maybe go into a rental for some time, right? Until the market shifts, like, because it's not going to last forever. It can't.
Correct. Exactly. And so, the bubble is going to burst at some point. So the point is that definitely the market has changed a little bit. Buyers also have a little bit more leverage now, right? I'm seeing on home inspections, when the buyer puts in the request, they are asking for things that, really weren't as quote unquote normal a couple of years ago, right? So, it's changing. Is it a seller's market or a buyer's market? I wouldn't say it's either. It's kind of like a neutral market, and it's really more dependent on like the location in the house. And obviously a lot of it has to do with the pricing, right? Because if you start too high, then, the home will sit. But obviously if you price it strategically and aggressively, the goal is always to get multiple offers and sell for over asking. Right. But we just don't know what will happen until we try it, right? It's a very interesting market because I have listings all over, and some of my listings are sitting a little bit longer and some of them are still getting multiple offers, right? I listed a home in Manalapan and I had, like 12 offers and it's selling for, I don't know, close to $100,000 over asking. Right. And then I've got other homes that are still sitting on the market and I'm like, I'm kind of confused because I'm like, well, this is a really great area. I'm not sure why this house is sitting. It's not overpriced, right? So it's interesting. I think that also, obviously the rates have a little bit to do with it. They're not as high as they were. They're around like 6%, low sixes, depending on, what type of borrower you are. But, they're still a little bit higher than some people would like to see. So it really just depends on, I would say, obviously the area and what the buyer's willing to pay, right, with the current interest rates.
And given all of these factors, it also changes the dynamic of what's happening in the industry. So in one of the, one of our recent episodes, we had Dan Montana on, another top agent, and he's on, MPG with you. And he mentioned there was a report, I think it was by NAR, that came out, something along the lines of there's either last year or this year, 1.6 million realtors, and they're expecting that to go down to 1.2 million realtors, which is significant. And it kind of indicates the fact that things are getting tougher. The deals aren't happening as quickly or as smoothly, and homes aren't selling as fast as they were during COVID because, again, the market, the environment, people's lifestyle determines what happened. And during that time when offices were closed, everyone was working from home, a big wave that we saw was that people wanted bigger homes, right? Because now they're being forced to stay in their home. They have families, they have kids, they have pets, and they need room, whether it's an extra room so now that they can have an area to have their office, or just more space since they're spending all of their time at home and they're not spending it on commuting and going to the office and, not really being in the office to really care if they have all this extra space. Correct. But now they're being forced to stay in. They're using their kitchens. They're using their living rooms. They're using the outdoors. And so there was a lot of movement happening, right? Whereas now things are, offices are open, people are back at work. Some people are still, staying remote, which is great, but a lot of offices have went back and they have required their employees to go back to work. And the real estate market is changing, right? It's starting to correct itself a little bit because, like we said, what was happening wasn't necessarily quote unquote normal and something that's going to last. And that is making it more difficult for the agent, I would say, that haven't had a chance to really build out their business in order to justify staying in the real estate industry, because they're starting to realize, wait a second, like deals don't happen like this,
No,
right?
they
This
don't.
isn't Netflix. This isn't,
Right. This isn't Selling Sunset.
This isn't Selling Sunset, right? Like, it's hard, and you actually have to work and hustle and put your all in to try to build out your real estate business, and it's going to take time. This is a long-term game, which is kind of, I mean, that's why we're here, right? Like, to talk about how do you actually build a real estate business from scratch, whether you have a sphere or not.
Right. Yeah, I think that's really important. And I think that as agents, we need to master our craft, most importantly, and understand, like, okay, what is my purpose as the agent? Right. We need to master that before we can even be successful in this business, right? I find that there was a lot of agents that got licensed during COVID, right?
Yes, a lot.
And
so then there was a spike in the day.
There was
right?
a spike. And that's why now agents are pulling out.
Correct.
Because they realize, wow, this is really not as easy as it looks. Right now, it's not as easy as it looks,
Correct.
right? Because the market has changed. I read an article that said that in July and August, there was over 15% of real estate contracts were canceled.
Wow.
Just
That's
in those
a
2
lot.
months, which was the highest since 2017. Yeah.
Wow.
And to your point, transactions are not going as smooth as they used to go, right? Because again, the buyers are getting
Smarter.
they're getting smarter. They have more leverage. Yes. How do we agents generate leads? We know obviously we can get paid leads, but for me, starting off, I'll share a little bit of my experience, obviously, because I came into the business part-time. I really didn't have a lot of money to spend on lead gen. So when you don't have a lot of money,
most new agents don't. Anyone
right.
getting into the business.
Or
I mean,
even-
unless you're coming in because you're doing a career shift and you had saved up money
Right.
into your savings, right? Either that, or you happen to come across a lump sum of money and you're like, I'm going to take this to invest, take some time off, and I want to get into real estate, and I have this cushion to rely on.
Right.
Most agents don't have that.
right. So the one thing I'll tell you is, and this is what I think that agents don't put enough emphasis on,
Right.
this is a people business, okay?
100%.
People. This is a relationship built business.
Yes. Long-term relationship.
Think about it. Am I going to work with an agent that I don't like nor trust? The answer is no. You're not going to work with anybody you don't like or trust.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that a lot of agents don't put emphasis on that, right? They're just like, I need a lead, I need a lead, I need a lead. But it's all about cultivating and nurturing relationships, okay?
Yes.
You can have 200 leads, but if you're not nurturing those leads properly, it's not going to go anywhere. Whereas you can have 10 leads, and if you are really nurturing those leads, you may close on all 10, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about how you are dealing with the actual consumer,
And
right?
people feel it.
Right.
Like
People
they
know.
know.
They know if
They know.
they know if you are being genuine and all of that,
100%.
right? And listen, don't get me wrong, right? I'm happy to see the decline in the agents,
Yeah.
because the cream of the crop always rises to the top.
And the people leaving are the people that are just kind of taking away from the people that are trying to be the top producers,
Exactly.
because they're just closing one or two deals. And it's
Exactly.
like, oh, my cousin called me and my cousin's a realtor. And
Right.
so I'm going to go buy
Exactly.
with them. That cousin probably never sold a single house, helped anyone buy a house, has no experience with negotiations. They just got their license and they're like, oh, I'm a realtor, right?
Right.
And so you would have, and I've heard of these crazy stories where you would have an individual looking for houses, right? Let's just, for example, Zillow, right? So they call up Zillow and they're like, I want to see this home. Agents pay Zillow to earn a percentage of the market share in a specific zip code because that is paid leads, right? And so someone who's paying for that zip code where that house was picks up the phone. They say, yeah, I can show you the house. So they meet up with this client. They're so excited, right? And they show them the house. The client says, I love it. This is great. I want to put in an offer. And then they go their separate ways. the agent calls them and says, all right, like, let's put in your offer. And it's like, oh no, thanks so much. My cousin is actually going to be writing up our offer. She's an agent.
Right. Now, but now those things have changed, right? Now that that actually cannot happen anymore, obviously because of the buyer's agency. But yes, the thing is, and I will say this again and again.
But do you think it still doesn't happen?
Listen, it may happen, right? But the thing is, as an agent, you have to basically show what your value add is. Right?
Yeah.
Why should you work with me as a listing agent or as a buyer's agent? Right? And you're 100% right in saying that people know. They know if you're in this because you genuinely care and want to help them.
Correct.
Or if you're in this just for the money.
Transaction.
Right.
Yeah.
And for the transaction.
And you just see them as a dollar sign.
Correct. And the thing is,
which is so distasteful.
It's very distasteful. And this is somebody's biggest investment, right?
Yeah.
So you better do a good job, right? And that's how I look at it.
I mean, even as women, like, think about it. When you go to the store and you go shopping and you're trying on makeup and things like that, the experience that you're going to have with whoever is helping you, you will feel it if they're just trying to sell you on a product because they're trying to earn some commission on it, or they're truly giving you their honest, brutal opinion.
Correct.
And that, like, to me is one of my pet peeves because I've been in a sales job. I've, been on the selling side when it comes to like shoes or jewelry, right? Like when I was first entering the workforce and things like that. And my whole thing was, so one of my first like jobs where I got an actual, real paycheck and things like that was Aldo shoes. And
not surprised.
Since that experience, I think I've been traumatized because when I worked there, we were extremely incentivized to sell shoe care, meaning I could have been the number one sales associate for that week with selling the most amount of shoes.
Oh, but they wanted you to sell the package.
Yeah, but if my percentage of shoe care sold was lower than expected based on the volume of like the number of the shoes that I sold, like it had to be a percentage. So obviously the more shoes you sell,
the higher the percentages.
The more shoe care products you got to sell to make that percentage. And I hated that.
Yeah.
Like despised it.
Yeah.
Would get pissed off, would get mad because I would say, why does that matter?
Right.
The whole point is to give a customer an experience.
Right.
And if someone is a repeat client, they don't freaking need the shoe care again. Right. Okay. Or if somebody wants to buy 2 pairs or 3 pairs of shoes because they went on a shopping spree and they like to buy shoe care from another company, why do I have to come down their throat to try to sell them a product in order to keep my job? Right. Because you know what they used to do? And I don't know if they still do this. And honestly, I hope they don't come at me. But this still lives with me. I was in high school. This experience still lives with me.
Yeah.
Which is they would cut your hours.
That's crazy.
The following week. And I think there was a rule where you had to wear black, which I was like, I don't know how that's punishment because I love black and it looks so chic. But they would cut your hours if your percentage of shoe care sold to how many shoes you sold wasn't that appropriate amount.
Right.
How messed up.
That's very messed up. And that's the thing.
Tell me that's not transactional. Tell me, who wants to do that?
No,
right?
It's very true, right? So, there's a lot of ways, regardless of how tough the market is, of what you can do to generate leads.
Yes.
I also really, really believe that agents forget how much money, quote unquote, they have in their database from just their past clients, right? And that comes with not being transactional, right? Because if you're transactional, you're not going to check in on your past clients, right? Because you're just like, okay, out of sight, out of mind, I got paid, right? But that's really not the case.
Right.
I do a lot of repeat business, right? I try my very hardest to stay in touch with my past clients. Obviously, I have a lot of past clients, and it's really hard to obviously stay in touch with all of them. But you have to find ways that doesn't make it feel like it's work. Right.
Like, so tell us some secrets that you, so how do you personally, I guess, how did you?
There's a lot of things that you can do as far as past clients go. Right.
Yeah.
And again, this is for maybe somebody more seasoned, right? Because if you're a new agent, you obviously don't have past clients.
Yeah.
But for somebody who's a little bit more seasoned and they have past clients, well, first and foremost, don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Come on, guys, call them, right? Call them. You don't have to call them every week. You don't have to call them every month. You don't have to do that. But call them once in a while.
How do you remember to call them?
So they're in my CRM, right? And so
what CRM do you use?
Follow Up Boss, right? And I've got a bucket there that's got like my past clients that are tagged past clients. Okay. Right. So call them once in a while. Listen, if you're driving in the area, like, don't you remember as a realtor, oh my God, I sold that house? Right? So at that point, call them. Hey, I was just in town. Like, how are you guys doing? The easiest way for me is actually asking my clients to follow me on Instagram, because I'm very active on Instagram.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I have my clients follow me on Instagram, I can see what they're up to and they can see what I'm up to. And then it's very easy for me to engage with them that way. Right. Because it's
very casual. You're not asking them for anything.
Right.
You're just like, I want to be friends with you.
Correct. And the thing is, if I see they're at a restaurant or they're asking for a recommendation, we've all done it, right? We've all posted on our Instagram story, like, hey, I need a recommendation for X, Y, and Z.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
It could be anything. It doesn't have to be real estate related. Yeah. Right? You can comment. That's the beauty of social media, right? So I ask a lot of my clients to follow me on Instagram. Granted, obviously this, I can't ask all of them, right? Because I have clients that are a little bit older that
they're not as active or they can't.
Exactly. Correct. Or they don't have it, right? They might be like 75, 80 years old and they're like, I don't even know what that is, right? So, but.
So you make sure to call them.
Correct. So those clients are the ones that you call.
Right.
Right. The clients that have social media, you follow them and they follow you back. And now you've got an easy way, two-way communication. Right. And it's really easy to communicate on Instagram because I can comment on your post. If it's your daughter's birthday, if it's your son's birthday, if you post a Happy New Year post or a Christmas post or things, right?
And that counts as a touch base.
Correct. So that for me has really, really been very helpful. Yeah. Because I'm on Instagram, right? So, I'm on it every day. So, and it doesn't feel like I'm doing any work, right? I'm just on Instagram, right? And I'm scrolling through my feed and my stories, right? So I would say that that's really the number one tip.
How about for agents? Sorry to interrupt you, but I think that is great. I like that it's very nonchalant, it's natural, and then the nice thing is, you have personality. They get to know you. And that's the thing. Like as a human, as a person, and just be able to see who Melissa is.
Right. And here's the thing. I'll give you, and I'm going to make this up. Like this has happened before, but I can't remember of an exact scenario, but I'll just talk about, we went to Roast today.
Yes,
Coffee House.
Yeah, right? So yummy.
Shout out to Roast. Roast in Morristown.
Which just opened. Yep,
just opened.
Sally and
Jesse here. If you guys have not been to this coffee shop, please go. The best. Okay. And I'm not just saying that. But here's an example. I've sold houses in Morristown, right? I follow clients that I've sold houses to in Morristown. I can reach out to them and say, hey, did you hear about the new coffee shop that opened in town? Or let's say they already went and then they post that they've been to Roast. I can comment and say, oh my God, did you try
100%? Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying is it's such an easy platform and an easy way to stay in touch with clients, right? Because,
you don't have to think about, okay, I'm going to call my client. It's time for me to call my client. And then you get stuck because you're like, wait, what do I say to them?
What do I say? Right.
You don't have to think about that.
Right. So that is for the people that obviously have social media.
Right.
Then you have the clients that are a little bit older, right? Maybe they don't use they don't even have to be older. Maybe they just don't use social media. Maybe they're just
not active. Correct.
Right. So what do you do for those people? Well, send them emails, call them, send them mail, like a physical card. I have sent physical cards to some of my past clients, Christmas cards, New Year cards, right? Because I have to understand the type of person that I'm dealing with. That will go a long way with certain people. The problem is that as agents, we don't remember to do all of these things, or it's just not top of our mind because we're so focused on getting new business that new business is actually in your old business too.
Right.
And we forget that. For example, in the new year, okay, so in March, I'll be listing 2 of my past clients' houses. I sold them houses 3 years ago.
Wow.
Okay. But if I had not done a good job, you know, being top of mind, and what I mean by top of mind is I'm not calling them every week or every month, right? But you want them to feel like, no, she's my partner in this, right? Like I trust Melissa, or I trust Nino.
Yeah.
Like she's got my best interest at heart. Okay.
And now more than ever, because if you take a look back years ago, when people would buy their house, they would stay in their house for like 20, 30, 40 years plus, whatever, and then hand it down to their kids and kids and things like that. Now, does that still happen? Yeah. But as to your point, what you just said, 2 clients that bought their home, think about that, 3 years ago, right? So that is something that is happening more and more and more. Whereas like, I would say the younger generations, they don't always look at buying a home as their forever home.
No.
They look at it as
a 5-year plan.
A 5-year plan, 10-year plan.
And especially now.
Or even this is our first home.
Right. So I hear that more and more, and especially now because obviously prices are very high. Right. So they're like, listen, we really want to buy because we don't want to keep dumping money into rent.
Correct.
We obviously know that the prices are high. We're looking for something more like a 5-year plan.
Yeah.
Right. And that's okay. Right. It's fine.
Yeah.
Now there's more things that you can obviously do, right? And not just pertaining to past clients, but something that all agents should be doing, whether you're new or seasoned, is you need to let your sphere know. Please tell everybody that you're a realtor, right? Like, don't be shy about that.
Yeah.
If they don't know, how will you ever get business from them?
How will they know?
Right. They'll never know if you don't tell them, right? So there's that. Okay. You need to basically reach out to your sphere.
A lot of people feel uncomfortable though.
Yeah. So I don't.
So that's like the biggest pushback that you hear a lot of. I would say seasoned agents, not so much, because they understand the business and they understand the game a little bit better. They've warmed up to it and they're proud. Whereas newer agents, I have heard a lot of that.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Like, oh, but what are they going to think of me? And like, what do I say? And how do I say? They get nervous.
Yeah. So here's what you do. You make an announcement on Instagram.
Yeah, okay? There you go.
Then when you see them at the next gathering, barbecue, party, whatever it is, you're like, hey, by the way, did you know I just got my real estate license? I'm super excited. Nonchalant. What's the problem with that? Right? No. You guys are friends. Yeah. Right. So shouldn't friends know what's going on in your life?
1000%.
So I think that it's awkward because I think that newer agents feel like it's awkward because they're just uncomfortable with the idea. But because I think they're thinking that you have to basically pitch yourself. No, you don't. You're just letting them know.
You're just letting them know you're sharing something that you're excited about. That's like the beauty of social media. Like, realtors didn't have this. No. You know, and to your point, when I got my license, and again, I sell more part-time, right? So a lot of...
To your sphere.
So it's really my sphere.
Yeah.
And I did not call people up personally, right? But they saw that I was in the real estate world. I have real estate on my Instagram, and if somebody is selling or they have any questions, they come to me.
Right. And that's how it should be. Right?
Hey, I'm thinking about investing. Like, if you come across anything, please let me know. I know you have a lot of agents in your office. I know that you probably see deals come through. Like, if you see something that matches, please let me know.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to make it a whole big thing.
It's not like an awkward phone call, right?
No, yeah, like, hey, it's Nino.
I just want to let you know I'm licensed.
Just to let you know I'm licensed.
Right. You don't do it that way.
You don't do it that way. Correct. It's just you being super excited for yourself, something that you're excited, and you should be excited. I mean, why else did you get into this business if you're not excited, right?
Correct.
There's obviously something that led you to go to school, right? Study for your exam, pass the exam, go hang your license with the brokerage. And now you're excited that you're sitting open houses and mentoring and things like that. You want to share that journey and document that journey. And I would say my best advice for newer agents who are really not sure what they should be doing or how did they get themselves out there and let people know, literally, you don't have to do anything crazy or out of the box.
Right.
Just document your experience.
That's it.
And Gary Vee talks about this all the time. Document your journey. There is nothing more powerful than documenting your journey from the start, because over time, your following is going to grow.
It's very true.
Your sphere is going to grow. Your clients are going to grow. Your referrals are going to grow. But the people that are there right now that are with you and there to support you and watching your journey from the very start, I promise you, those people are going to be your like hardcore fans and committed to you and loyal to you over the years, because you know what they're going to say? I remember when Nino started.
Correct.
I remember like her posting like this kind of stuff and now she's here, right? Because oftentimes people don't record
their journey.
Yeah. And you know, they're struggling, right? They're putting on a happy face, but they're really struggling. And then 5 years down the line, maybe 10 years down the line, they blow up. But guess what? That blow up, that didn't happen overnight.
No, correct.
It was exponentially just built on itself, where now it looks like that.
Right.
And it's like, oh, but you know, like, how did she get here and things like that? And it's like, well, if you documented, then you would have seen the journey. You would have seen,
exactly. And it is very important to document because, and also when you, let's say, have your first closing and you post it, there might be somebody that didn't know you were an agent. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even know she was an agent. Oh my God, it's great. Congrats.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And that's how that happens. It's like a domino effect.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then before you know it, this person is telling that person, right? And so on.
Correct.
Right? But that's like with everything, right? Even past clients, when you get referrals and all of that.
Yeah.
So,
right. Even if you get one client from your sphere, use that to your advantage. Make the most of it. Like, treat that client like gold, right? Because everyone knows somebody. We all have friends, and our friends have friends, and our friends' friends have friends, right? So if you have the time and you get this one client, instead of being and operating from a place of, oh, I just got my license, I can't get any leads. Oh yeah, one of my like friends from wherever contacted me and I'm working with them, but it's only one client and things like that. Instead of operating from that place, operate from a place of like, yes, like, I have a client and this client is going to get the best service I have ever given to anybody, and they're going to be my raving fan. Like, when you get that client, when you're starting out, make them your raving fan. Give them your time, your attention, your knowledge, guide them through everything, and then post about it, blast it everywhere, because that is huge. It's not you flaunting yourself. It's your client saying what an amazing experience they had working with you, and your clients' reviews will always overpower anything that you have to say.
And again, there's no money involved in that.
No money.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that, all right, so we've talked about past clients. Right. And remember, past clients and repeat business.
Yes.
But past clients can also mean referrals.
Correct.
So you got the two things. You got past clients that will essentially potentially lead to repeat business and referrals.
And sphere, we talked about.
And then you have sphere, okay?
And we briefly touched on social media, but let's dive into maybe a little bit more on social media and how people can leverage it
Well, social media is
from
interesting.
because paid and free.
Paid. Yeah, I was going to say, because you can do both.
Yes.
You can do paid and unpaid.
Correct.
Right. So if you're just doing unpaid, it's really just a matter of having a presence and gaining followers and doing the right things, like, you know, posting a reel and maybe picking a trending audio to get more views and having high engagement, responding to all comments, right? Things like that, which is free. There's a ton of things that you can do on social media that are not free, which I will let you talk about.
Also building on the free, because one of the biggest questions, and I'm curious to get your opinion, is how do you, or at least this is the question I get often, how do you decide what platform to use?
Okay.
Oftentimes you hear polar views, which is pick whatever you like and stick to that, or basically whichever app and platform is trending, go towards that. So for example, when TikTok came out and people were going crazy and everyone's like TikTok, 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 TikTok. And then the other side of it, from like the more experienced gurus, you should be everywhere posting 5 times, 10 times, 20 million times a day to overpower, right?
So my perspective is that naturally, we all have one platform that maybe we spend a lot of time on or we gravitate towards.
Ourselves.
Right. Ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to naturally want to do the most on that. For me, that platform is Instagram.
Yep.
Okay. However, what I will tell you is that every platform has a different audience and demographic. For example, TikTok is geared more towards the younger audience, right? Then you've got Instagram and
super
Facebook.
fast pace.
Right. And then you've got Instagram, and then you got Facebook, which Facebook I would say is probably geared more towards a little bit of an older demographic for the most part, right? Like I'm on Facebook,
right?
And I don't consider myself old, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like it's more of an older demographic.
Who's gonna tell her?
It's more of an older demographic in comparison to TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So I say post on, and then you have YouTube, and then you have LinkedIn. So I say post on all of them, but because they all kind of target something a little different. And they're all a little different. For example,
they're all a little
what
different,
I like,
and some people are on all of the platforms, but I would say the main difference is the way in which people are using each platform. And there's a difference in human behavior for each of the platforms.
And the thing about Facebook that I like is they have groups.
Yes.
Right.
I love groups.
Like Moms of Montville, or, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right. It's an easy platform for you as the realtor to post on, right? You just have to join these groups, and it gives you more exposure.
And engage in conversation that is naturally happening.
Correct.
And the thing is that it's not weird, because in those groups, you don't have to know the people. The whole point is that these are all individuals living in that neighborhood, all coming together to talk about a specific topic that they all have an interest in.
Correct. Right. So I think that every platform has its niche and purpose. Yeah. Right. But I think that we also gravitate more towards one for whatever reason, right? Like for me, it's Instagram. Yeah. Right. But maybe for
I mean, listen, look, typically speaking, the average person is not sitting on their couch and opening up all 6 or 7 apps back to back to back to back, right? Because
there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah, correct. Unless you're doing nothing, right?
So I would say post on all of them, but you don't have to post on all of them maybe consistently. Does that make sense?
Yes, correct.
Right? Like pick one and focus on that one, but don't forget about the other ones, right? Like remember that those still exist, but maybe don't post on all the other ones as consistently. Right. I think maybe focus on one that you really enjoy, and then the other ones are kind of just like a sub thing. Right. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that when you're trying to use social media to really grow your business, I would say pick one platform that you feel comfortable with and that you enjoy using yourself, because like I said, it's going to be easier for you. Yes.
And you have to master
it. Right. Master that platform to the max before you start adding other platforms. But what you can do, just so that you are still using those platforms and not completely disengaged, if you want to, integrate apps.
That's what I do, actually.
That do the multi-posting on all the platforms. So have a platform set up, for example, on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, everywhere. When you're creating your content, study the content that is on the platform that you have committed to mastering, so that you're creating content specifically for that. And then use that to distribute to the rest of them. But it's not like you sitting there and specifically making 7 different pieces of content just to post one piece on every single platform. Like, that's not effective.
Yeah, so like when I post on Instagram, it's automatically gets posted to Facebook as well.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And I'm not doing that. It's doing it for me.
Correct.
Right? But if I want to post, like for example, if I want to post a listing on Facebook, then I have to, like on a Facebook group, I have to manually do that.
Correct.
Right? But it'll appear on my profile automatically. But if I want to do something extra, then I have to log in. So yeah, I think that every platform has its, pros, right?
Yeah, and I think you have to ask yourself, like, what am I doing this for? Like, for example, on TikTok, yes, you can grow a bigger following a lot faster, but you do have to ask yourself, is the quality of that audience the same as that of Instagram and YouTube? So I don't think you can do a side-by-side comparison. Like, for example, 1,000 people on TikTok versus 1,000 people that are following you on YouTube is 2 very, very different things, right? Meaning that 1,000 people on TikTok, if they were to actually convert into business, you would have better luck converting 1,000 of the followers that you have on YouTube versus TikTok. Why? Because, again, human behavior and the way that people naturally use these platforms. On TikTok, there's a very short attention span. That's just what it is, right? Because you open up the app and all you're doing is like
scrolling,
swipe, and you're looking for entertainment. That's typically what ends up doing very, very well. And if you're going on there to grow your business, I mean, for example, in real estate,
entertaining.
How entertaining do you have to be about real estate? I mean, you have to be like stating crazy facts, crazy numbers, like doing wild things, whatever it is.
Doing the Nicki Minaj challenge on the roof.
That's what I should have done. To stop the scroll, versus if you have 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel and you are posting, forget 1 hour videos. Let's just say you're doing 10 to 30 minute community videos of why should people move to Short Hills. We're in Short Hills, so I'm just going to use that for example. So talking about the schools in Short Hills, talking about how far Short Hills is from the city or from Philly or from the beach, right, in the summertime, talking about events happening, right? Milburn, Explore Milburn, Short Hills, shout out to them, right? They host so many different events throughout the year, and there's like fun things to do, whether it's a date night or a family night out, or I know they even did the marathon right this year. I think you guys were part of it.
I didn't run.
No, you were. No, I know you were.
You won't catch me running.
I know you didn't run.
But yes.
But yeah, you were involved in, right? Those subscribers clearly subscribe to your page because they enjoy watching your videos. And on TikTok, for example, versus watching you for 30 seconds, they're watching you for 10 minutes, 30 minutes, or if you have an hour video. So they're watching hours of content with you, hours at hours, right? Think about your own self and how you make decisions, right? Am I going to, you said this earlier on, and you said people like to work with people they like and trust. And I believe that to my core. I think that's really what it comes down to, especially in business, right? You do business with people that you like and trust, right? That are similar
100%.
to yourself, that understand, and you're like, oh, I
And
like
that
that.
relate
and,
to
and,
you.
and they relate to you. So when they're consuming your content, they're watching hours and hours of video footage of you. You might not even know them. They've been following you because you're posting about what it's like to live in Short Hills, move to Short Hills. Should you move? Should you not move? If you are moving, like where you should go and in which streets and what else is happening in town. They already know you because they've consumed so much of your content, listening to all the stuff that you're saying. And they've decided, like, if they've hit your subscribe button, it's because they said, I like this girl. I want to consume more of her content. She has something interesting to say.
Right. And they relate to you.
And you just built rapport.
Right.
Without
even trying
having,
or having a conversation.
without even having a conversation,
Right.
ever meeting this person in real life or like anything. And then let's say they've been following you for 6 months. All of a sudden it's time, like whether they're trying to buy a home there and they're ready. Guess who they're probably going to call if they want to move to Short Hills?
Right.
Or have a friend that wants to move to Short Hills.
They're going to call you.
They're going to call you.
Yeah. And it's very true. Again, like I said, people will work with you if they like you, they trust you, and also if you're relatable, right? There's that component as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have gotten leads from Instagram. Like
Yes,
legit.
Yeah.
I got 2 this year that I closed on.
Yeah.
And one of my very first deals
Mm-hmm.
in real estate was from Instagram. And guess what? I sold her a condo. I was like brand new. I was like, it was in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Sold her a condo.
Yeah.
I just sold her a condo now,
Wow.
like 2 months ago, because she's like, all right, I need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I got her from Instagram. And this year I got a buyer and a seller from Instagram and
Yeah.
another buyer actually.
You had a video go viral.
Yeah.
One of your
Correct.
home
And that
tours.
cost me no money. No
well,
money.
the video cost you
Well,
money.
I'm saying yes, but to post on.
But you're gonna have to get professional photography,
Regardless,
videography,
yeah.
For the home. I mean, listen, some people I've seen post with their phones. Can you talk a little bit about the difference between taking a photo on your phone versus actually investing? Like, for example, like you invest a significant amount of money. Every single listing you have, I would say like 90%, you have not purchased just photos, you've done photos and video.
Yes.
No matter the price point.
Correct.
And oftentimes I hear a lot of agents saying, oh, I'm only going to invest into videography if it's a nice
Correct.
$1 million plus home.
That's
And I
wrong
love
mindset.
that you actually invest in every single price point.
I invest in every single price point. I think that is the wrong mentality to have. Oh, I'm only going to showcase this listing if it's $1 million. I'm only going to do video on this listing if it's $1 million. Why?
Why?
Like you should be working for that client to sell their home. And that is part of the package. I have not done video on listings under the seller's request. If they have said to me, I don't want video here.
Yeah.
Or, I'm really concerned about it, whatever. But you are 100% right. And if you go on my Instagram right now, you will see that I have video for 90% of my listings, right?
Because the whole point of the video, which I really want agents and even people that are not agents that are listening to this, if you own property and you do want to sell your home in the future or buy a home in the future, it's very important to really interview the agent that you are planning on hiring, because the video is not done for the agent. The video is done because video gets you the most engagement in the social digital world. So the videos are done specifically to maximize your exposure online. And when you're hiring an agent, you're paying them a pretty penny, right, from the sale of the home. And you want to make sure that that agent is putting in the energy, the time, the investment to show your home in the best possible light and give it maximum exposure so that the most amount of eyeballs get on that property.
Correct. And I don't believe in that mentality. Like, oh, I'm not going to do a video here because it's $300,000. Like, why?
Why not?
Why?
there's a huge pool of buyers for that property.
Like, I mean, I've seen and I've heard agents say this. Oh, you know, I don't want to do it because, or, oh, I got a better one. No professional photography. And I'm like, what planet do you live on? Right? I've heard that too. Okay, so what do we have now?
Yes.
We've got your past clients, right? Which will past clients, which will essentially give you a referral and be a repeat client.
Yep.
Okay. Then you've got your sphere. We talked a little.
You don't have to be in their face, but you can even just do it nonchalantly on social media, change your job title, post about your wins, share the brokerage that you joined, things like that to make people aware.
Nonchalantly.
Yes.
Then you've got social media.
Pick one platform, master it, use a free app so that you can cross post on the rest of the platforms while you focus on really mastering that one platform that you decided to go all in. Create content for that platform and then just distribute it across all the others so that you're not wasting your time. And then paid, we were going to go into that.
We're going to go into the paid.
So the paid, I would say when you pick your platform for social media and you're doing all of that stuff, now the next step is ads, right? So you have YouTube ads, you have Meta ads, and you have Google ads. Kind of pick which one. I also would say the same strategy for ads. Now, if you have a specific platform that you're mastering, then my suggestion is do ads on that platform. Like if you're doing a crazy ton of YouTube, you're investing into your videos and the time to really put on production, grow your audience, get the subscribers, then run YouTube ads. Right? In order to maximize the audience. And again, it's similar to like a listing. Maximize the number of eyeballs on that platform where you are being constantly active on.
And the thing is that these ads, I think that some people think cost an arm and a leg.
And they don't.
And they don't.
Yeah, they
right?
really
like
don't.
You can allocate how much money you want to spend on any given ad.
Correct.
Right? So this is not thousands, people.
No,
right? It's not thousands of dollars. Right? So you just have to be strategic and decide, okay, which platform am I going to do the ad on?
Correct. I mean, can it cost thousands? Yeah,
of course
100%.
Yes.
Some people, like, let me just clarify, right? You can get to a point, and some people do spend thousands and thousands of ads. What you have to do is really sit down, make a marketing budget for the year, break it down to what is your marketing budget for the month, and then list out all the different ways that you think you can spend your marketing budget. And then I would say, sit down and assess it. And if you have a friend or you have a mentor or if you have someone in your brokerage that you look up to that has the success that you want, then go ask them, hey, can I meet with you for coffee? Or can I take you out to lunch and get your input? Now, this is something that you do if you're newer and you're a solo agent, you're not on a team, you don't have a team leader you can go to. If you have a team leader, go to your team leader and say, hey, here's my marketing budget. Here is my budget for the month. What should I do? Can you help me out? Is there anybody else I can partner with to help me offset some of this cost? And what do you think, based on your experience, I should put my money into? And I'm ready to start blank on this date, right? If you don't have that and you're a solo agent and you need some guidance, find someone in the industry, find someone at the brokerage that has had the success, that has walked the walk, not just a manager, but somebody who has been an agent, done the work, or find another agent who's a top producer, like I said, that is living the lifestyle that you want, has been able to achieve the success that you want, and ask if you can take them out to lunch. Because oftentimes, like, this is a people business. And oftentimes, the people who have grinded it out and like hustled and like started from nothing know what it's like, and they've gotten the success. it's very rare that they will turn you down when they see that an agent is being productive and is hungry and is going out of their way to get in touch with them, because it reminds them of themselves when they were in those shoes. And I bet you like 99% of agents are not doing this. So you might be one of the only agents, maybe one of two, maybe, who reaches out to them and says, can I take you out? I just want to pick your brain.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that lunch will probably be the best investment you ever make in yourself, because what you're paying for is to speed or shorten the speedway to your own success. Correct. To learn and listen from the mistakes of that top producer.
Absolutely. 100%.
And that is priceless.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that in the business is not about the leads, but in the business, I think that people sometimes are weird about asking people for help. And not even in the business, just in general. Yeah. Right. And I think that it's
a lot of the narrative that we're living in today, which there's a lot of, I'm independent, I can do it by myself. Right. I don't need any help. And it's almost become where people feel embarrassed
to ask
for help.
Yeah. And I don't think it should be like that at all. Right.
I don't either. I think you're stronger when you are okay
collaborating and asking other people for help and getting different
being
inputs.
Vulnerable and being honest.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like being real. Hey, I'm fucking struggling. Like,
yeah, and the thing is that too, like that top agent that you're asking for help from, they were in your shoes.
They were in your shoes. Yeah.
So they are going to want to help you, right? Because they're going to say, "I remember this," right? So it's not an easy business at all. No. So the paid social media.
Yep.
So there's a couple other things I want to touch on before we wrap up. Open houses.
Open houses.
Free.
Free 99.
Free
99.
Free 99.
Free 99.
It's free.
Free.
I mean, listen, ask to host an open house.
Yep.
Do a good job at being present and helping the people that walk through the door and staying in touch with those people.
Make it part of your weekends. Like, this is what you do.
This is what you do to generate business. That is what I did. Yeah. One of my first clients, again, like my first 5 clients, 2 were Sphere, 1 was from an open house, 1 was social media, and 1 was like an office lead. Those were my first 5 clients.
Open houses work.
Okay. So open houses, free 99. Door knocking. Now be careful with door knocking.
Free 99.
Free 99. If you are watching this and you do want a door knock, you have to check with the municipality that you want a door knock in.
Correct. Make sure don't get in trouble.
Right. Make sure that you don't need a peddler's permit. Okay, that's a peddler's permit. That means you need
permission to actually
knock on these doors. Okay, so just cross-reference that.
Or they will actually stop you, or neighbors might call the police.
You. Yes. Yeah. So check on that. But door knocking is free. If you do have to pay for a permit, it's like $20. Yeah. Okay. So $20.
But the point is that you can do it and it's free 99.
Right. It's free and you get some exercise. Yeah. So that's always great.
And then door knock right before your open house too.
Right. So you get exercise and it's free. Free exercise.
And it's free exercise. You don't even have to go to the gym.
So you got that. Now the next thing that I'm going to mention is not free.
Well, but let me give you one. So when you're doing your open house, this is the beauty of open house. Open house, free 99. Go door knock the neighbors, free 99. Then go and record your social media video on 99. Your phone, free 99.
Wait, and by the way, I also want to mention that, you just said record social media video on your phone.
Yeah.
It's okay to do raw content too. Like sometimes the raw content.
I think raw content is king.
Does better.
It's so much better without.
So those are 3 things that you can do around one thing. If you're doing an open house, you're door knocking, You're sitting the open house. You're posting a video about that open house. All
or about
free.
about the
Or
area,
the area, whatever,
moving to
right?
that area, moving away from that area. What is in proximity to that area? What are the schools like? How close are you to the city? How close are you to the coffee shop? How close are you to all the hot places for date night? Whatever it is.
Those things all free. Okay? Free 99. Can we call this podcast episode Free 99? Free 99. So that's all great stuff.
Listen,
so pretty
I like
much
that.
Pretty much everything that we've talked about has been free with the exception of the paid ads. Okay?
Correct.
So now here's something else you can do that is, it's not free, but it doesn't cost a lot, right? Circle prospecting, sending mailers out.
Mm-hmm.
Any type of mailer you want. You want to send mailers out to the area that you want to dominate?
Yep.
Fine. Do it that way. You want to send mailers out to your neighbors? Do it that way, right? You want to circle prospect around a listing that was sold? You can do that too. All it costs is the cost of the stamp, right?
Stamp 99.
Stamp 99, okay? Stamp 99. All right. So look, not a lot of money.
Well, let me just say one thing. Can I add a but for the mailers? Because I feel really strongly about this.
What's your but?
My but.
Is it because it's not free 99?
Listen, you are investing a little bit depending on how many mailers you plan on doing, whether it's 100 mailers or it's several thousand mailers, whatever your budget is. I think that mailers work. I think that print is still great. I think that not as many people are doing it. So if you're the one that's doing it, that's better for you. So you should. However, I would say be super, super strategic.
Of course. That's what I'm saying. Pick the area that you want to focus on.
Yeah.
Right? You can't just...
Like if you send a mailer and then you don't do anything in that town, no one's ever seen your face. You're not sitting open houses. You're not going to the local stores in that area or engaging in the community.
Yes.
They're going to just throw it out.
Right. It's got to be a series of events, right?
Correct.
Now, but again, listen, if you want to circle prospect a listing that you've sold, you should 100% send mailers.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Yes.
And look, one of the biggest things that I hear from agents when I'm like, why don't you do mailers? They say, well, I don't have time. But here's the thing. If you're seasoned or new, yes, it is time consuming. I don't care what anybody says. It is time consuming because you got to fold it. You got to lick the envelope, which is gross. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like getting someone, you can have someone do
so this
that.
is what I'm saying. So I will give you this. I've hired a company, and again, you don't have to do this. You can hire a company to do it for you. And these are regular mailers, paper, envelope, right? They're doing the addresses. Or ladies and gents, if you have kids, put them to work. Say, hey, Michael, today we're going to stuff these envelopes for 1 hour. And you're going to stamp this stamp on for the return address. Okay? Listen, I mean, it does 1 hour. Okay? Put them to work. Say, listen, little Michael, if you want those shoes. No, but you get what I'm saying, right? You can have your kids help. Okay? All right. So you can do that. Then obviously
so there's mailers and EDDMs.
Right,
basically same concept. For EDDMs, I would say more farming.
Yes, same concept, EDDMs. If you don't know what that means, guys, that's every door direct mail. That costs a little bit more money because it's not just paper. It's like,
it's not a stamp.
And it's not a stamp.
It's not free. It's not stamp 99.
It's not stamp 99. Okay. It's, what do we call that one?
EDDM 99.
EDDM 99. So yeah, that one costs a little bit more.
The more EDDMs that you order, the less per EDDM it will cost you.
Correct.
So,
yes.
But usually that number is like over 1,000.
Yes.
That's when it starts to really come down per cost.
So you have those things.
Mm-hmm. But they are worth it, because if you're just doing it just to do it because like you heard someone get a listing because of an EDDM, don't freaking do it. Like just don't do it, right? Now, if you are farming a specific type of area and you are doing content there, you're doing open houses, like you're committing yourself to sitting open houses in that area every single weekend, you're door knocking the neighbors around those open houses and inviting them over. So they're seeing that, they're seeing your face when the time comes and they do get your mailer. They know who you are,
there's
right?
So
because
many
there's
things.
face recognition and patterns and things like that. Or you're maybe involved in a group in the community, or
Right.
you sponsor something within the schools, or your kids go to school in that area.
If they have a street fair, ask to have a booth there, right?
Correct.
Those things are not free. They're not free 99, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not going to cost a ton of money.
Correct.
Right? So there's a lot of things that you can do within the community that, we just don't always realize.
Yeah.
But, then we also have the paid portion of how to get leads. We all know that you can pay for Zillow leads.
If you want a free 99 way to leverage the markets in that area, go to the markets and spend your entire day at the market. It's usually not even all day. I lied. It's probably like 3 hours long or 4 hours long. Go spend the day there, network, stop by, say hello to every single vendor that is at that market. Take a video of that vendor's booth and then tag them on social media and write something. And if you want to take it to the next step, literally do a little mini interview with every single vendor at that market, asking them who they are, what their name is, and what their business is about, whether they're selling natural honey, or they're selling fruit, or they're selling natural lip balms. Post it on social media, because guess what? That business is going to be so happy that you took a picture or took a video or interviewed them. If you want to go that route, they're going to repost you. And guess what? Those people are people. And eventually they either have a house, will want to buy a house, or might need to sell a house, or have friends that need to buy, sell, or invest.
Here's something else too.
And that's free.
Right. And something else that is free 99. If you are trying to hone in on an area, get to know the businesses, do that. But also ask the business owner, can I leave my business card here? Because if you're doing a good job in that community, they're going to say, wow, I saw her business card at the coffee shop. I just saw her at the street fair, 3-4 months ago, right? Those things. There's so much that you can do. Honestly, this is going to sound silly. I've worn my signature gear, right? Because we're also walking billboards.
We are. Yeah. We're little walking mini billboards. I wish we can get an AI done of that.
I've worn a signature sweatshirt, says Signature Realty.
Yeah.
Okay. Today I say California.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Today I'm California.
She's off work today.
I'm off work today. Okay. So I've had people approach, oh, you're a realtor, right? Yeah. Because I sometimes on my way to work, well, I don't anymore, but before I moved, I would go to the same coffee shop and I would see the same group of guys there, older guys, every single morning. They saw me in my Signature Realty shirt and they were like, oh, you're a realtor? And I'm like, yes. And then that sparks up a conversation, right? So
wear it to the gym.
Free 99.
When you're walking around. Yeah, free 99.
Right. I'm not saying, guys, you don't have to wear, every day. Come on. But you get what I'm saying. We're not going to bore you with all the other paid things that you can do because there's a lot. We all know as agents, we can pay for Zillow leads. We can pay for Realtor.com leads. We can pay for other referral sources like Home Light, a million different
things, paying thousands of dollars on a website. Like when you're starting out, please do not spend thousands of dollars on a website. It is not worth it. Get a Wix. I think Google actually, GoDaddy also now does websites as well, right? Start leveraging AI, right? don't overpay for things that you just need like a basic landing page to legitimize yourself, right? So create a basic landing page. Talk about the areas that you service, have AI do it. Don't go crazy, right? Like use your money where it's going to give you the highest ROI.
Yeah. Jinx, you owe me a Coke. So look, there's a ton of things you can do. Okay.
Yeah. Find like 2 or 3.
Cold calling. We didn't mention that.
We didn't mention cold calling.
The point is that look, you can't do all of them.
No, it's impossible.
I mean, I guess you could, but you can't. So pick
you can once
things.
You have a team and you can delegate. But when you're starting out, what I would say is pick two that you go all in.
And
like,
that's it.
I'm going to master this, right?
Yeah.
And then over time, as your business grows, you now have more playing money. You can invest more into your business. Make the first hire, delegate. Make the second hire, delegate. Make the third hire, delegate, and so forth, so forth, so forth. But when it's just you and you're doing everything, instead of spreading yourself thin and trying to do it all, just pick 2 things that you're going to focus all of your time and energy on. And then once you get comfortable with that and you feel like you can add another, then add another.
Correct.
Right? So I guess we'll wrap up now because we can go on for a very long time. But hope this was enjoyable. I hope you guys learned a couple of things. Again, Melissa's a top producer at Signature Realty NJ. She's been doing this for 5 years and she has had a lot of success. So really listen to what she says. I focus on the marketing at Signature, and again, a lot of what I share is having worked with Michelle Pais and the Michelle Pais group, building, being a part of when that team was coming up and just where it has come right now, and having one-on-one conversations with agents who are newer as well as experienced, and having insight to what it's like and what has worked well for them. So if you want to watch Melissa's full story, check out season 1, where she shares how she got into real estate from being a full-time teacher to then becoming a full-time top producer. Awesome episode. Check it out. And thanks for always watching. Thanks for tuning into this episode. You're going to kill 2026, and we'll see you in the next one.